The knocking was not loud, but it carried a weight that made the air feel heavier. I opened the door without asking a single question. 3 strangers stood in the rain, drenched but smiling, like they had been waiting for this moment. I should have hesitated. I should have asked who they were. But I let them in. The power had gone out earlier that night. My phone had no signal. My nearest neighbor was 3 miles away, down a dirt road that even my truck had trouble handling in dry weather. They claimed to be travelers whose car had broken down nearby. I believed them. After all, they looked normal. A man, a woman, and a girl, maybe 13 or 14. They spoke clearly and respectfully. They asked for warmth and a place to dry off. Said yes. That decision changed everything. I let them in, and they were not human. Rainwater soaked through the rug by the door as they stepped inside. The man introduced himself as Elias. The woman said her name was Vera. The girl, with dark braids and a pale face, remained silent. She stood between them with a stare that did not blink. I fetched 3 towels from the hallway closet. Elias thanked me with a nod, but Vera just smiled, too wide, too steady. Her teeth were perfect. Not just straight, identical like porcelain doll teeth. The girl never moved. They did not ask to use the bathroom. They did not ask for food. They sat on the couch like they had lived there for years. Elias leaned back as though he had done it 1,000 times. Vera placed her hands gently in her lap and stared at the clock above the television. "You live alone?" Elias asked. "Yes." He smiled. The rain poured harder. Thunder rolled across the hills. A strange tension filled the house. It was not hostile. It was patient. By morning, the rain had stopped. The storm had passed, but the air inside the house remained thick and unmoving. I made coffee. Elias appeared in the kitchen before the kettle even whistled. "We can help with chores," he said. "That is fine. You are guests." He did not argue. He just stood there watching the steam rise from the stove. Vera joined us a moment later, wearing one of my old sweaters. I had not given it to her. "It was in the hallway closet," she said before I could ask. "It smelled like you." The girl still had not spoken. But she had drawn something, a sketch left on the coffee table. My house. From the outside. Perfectly detailed. Even the exact number of cracks in the driveway cement. I did not remember her stepping outside. Later that day, I found her sitting in the hallway, staring at a closed door. She was not blinking, not moving, just watching. When I asked what she was doing, she simply said, "Waiting." For what? She did not answer. For 3 days they stayed. I offered to drive them into town. I asked about the mechanic. They declined, every time, gently but firmly. They never used the guest room. Instead, they remained in the living room, sitting upright. I never saw them eat. I never heard them sleep. I stopped hearing footsteps altogether. They moved in silence, like shadows that had weight but not sound. One night, I woke to a soft clicking noise. Like teeth. I followed it down the hallway. The girl stood in the kitchen, in the dark, facing the refrigerator. Her mouth moved, repeating my name in a whisper. Over and over. Her lips barely parted. The sound came from her throat. When she turned to look at me, her eyes did not adjust to the light. They reflected it. Later, I heard something that sounded like whispering beneath the floorboards. It was rhythmic, like chanting. When I asked about it the next day, Elias only said, "This house has many voices." Elias began to mirror me. If I scratched my head, he scratched his. If I crossed my arms, he did the same. "You are very expressive," he said one afternoon. "It is helpful." Vera had started to hum. The same tune. On repeat. A lullaby my mother used to sing, one I had never played aloud. I confronted her about it. "We hear things," she replied. "You think louder than you speak." The girl finally spoke that evening. Only once. She said, "We like this house. It is shaped like you." I did not sleep that night. I locked my bedroom door. Still, I felt their presence outside, just beyond the wood and metal. They did not knock. They waited. The mirror in the hallway started showing strange reflections. When I passed by it, I sometimes saw the strangers standing behind me, even if I was alone. I searched their bags when they left briefly to walk the perimeter of the yard. Nothing made sense. Each bag was filled with photos. Dozens of them. All of me. At work, in the yard, inside my house. Some from angles I could not explain. One photo showed me sleeping. Another showed me reading on the porch, something I had done 3 weeks before they arrived. They had been watching long before I opened the door. Then I found the mirrors. Framed pieces, like glass pulled from old vanity sets. But they did not reflect anything. When I looked into one, I saw my living room, but empty. Cold. Like it had been untouched for years. Inside a small pouch, I discovered a worn journal. It was not written in English. Not any language I could recognize. The letters curled like vines and pulsed slightly as I turned the pages. I waited until they all stepped outside again. I packed a bag, grabbed my keys, and ran to the truck. The engine started, but the road ahead seemed longer than I remembered. Trees leaned too close. The sky looked painted on, like a backdrop that could peel away at any moment. At the first stop sign, I saw my own face in the rearview mirror, smiling. I was not smiling. I drove to the sheriff's office. It was closed. It should not have been. I tried the gas station. No one was there. Every door locked. Every window dark. I returned home, defeated, and there they were, sitting in the same places, waiting. "You came back," Elias said. "We knew you would." They no longer pretended. The girl began walking in reverse, her limbs bending oddly. Vera's skin flickered, showing something underneath, like static across flesh. "This is not your place anymore," Elias said. "It belongs to us now." I asked them what they wanted. "To wear your life," he replied. "It fits so well." They were studying me. I was a costume. A model. Vera touched my arm. Her fingers were too long. They left no warmth. The girl stood behind me now. Her breath felt cold against my neck. "You let us in," she whispered. Then she peeled back her face. "They offered me a deal. 'Give us something of you,' said Vera, 'and we will leave.' I did not understand. The sound. A memory. A piece of your name. That is all we need." I said nothing. They closed in. I screamed. Not a sound of fear, but rage. And in that moment, they flinched. Vera shrieked, her voice bending like metal under strain. The girl fell to her knees. Elias clutched his face, as if my voice had split something inside him. I ran. I made it to the woods. I slept among the trees. By morning, they were gone. But my house was not the same. I left for a week, but when I came back, I found a package waiting by the door. No address. Inside, there was a photograph of me, only it was not me. It was someone wearing my face, living my life. Weeks passed. I cleaned the couch. I burned the towels. I repainted the walls. But something always feels off. My reflection lags behind my movements. Sometimes I hear footsteps that do not match mine. A neighbor waved at me last week, called me by name, then paused. "So, you changed your hair?" she asked. I had not. I sleep with the lights on now. I keep the doors locked. But I check the locks too often, like I do not trust myself. Because I remember letting them in. And I remember what they looked like when they wore my face. And sometimes when I pass the mirror, I am not sure which one of us is looking back. Not anymore.